All right. Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are doing very well. Um, my dusty, dirty car, I need to work on it. I need a new one, is what I need, but that shan't happen anytime soon. Okay, so wanted to comment very quickly on the Lori Cox Daybell sentencing. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Welcome. I wish I had something better to look at than my dusty car. How's this? Here we go. That's more enjoyable to look at, right? Okay, so um I have a video for those of you that are members of the channel. I have put up a video, a reaction video. Hi, Daisy Jones. Hey, Language of Horses. Welcome. Good morning. Diane H., my friend. How are you? Hey, Laura. Welcome. Okay, my car is about to cut off because I've been sitting here working for a long time. Let's see if it's going to quit. Okay. Now then, so I did put up a video for members, okay? And I thought long and hard. It's over 2 hours, right? It's the whole sentencing. It's the whole sentencing narrative. I really zoomed in hard on the defense table. It's very distorted. There are much better recordings out on YouTube that you can see a wide range view. But I was really, for my own benefit, I really wanted to try to pick up on some of her, mannerisms and facial expressions. So it's quite distorted. It's very interesting, though, because there were times where I thought that her face took on like a demonic kind of appearance. But then when you looked at her two attorneys, they just looked really fuzzy and distorted. It didn't look scary. It didn't look like please don't freak out. I don't do spirit boxes and I'm not a tarot card reader, anything like that. Demonic was just the word that came to mind. It looked like she had on a mask that would be appropriate like for a horror movie. Not that I think she's a demon or even possessed by a demon. I think she's very much human and mortal. But I just thought it just kind of made it spookier. I mean, it was a horrible story anyway. You don't need to enhance the horror of it, not by a long shot. And that is not what I was attempting to do. I just thought it was so odd that her face distorted to what appeared to be like a Halloween mask, whereas the attorneys did not. And I just thought that was so interesting. Diane, so you're watching it now. What do you think? Did you see where her face kind of took on a very strange look? It's kind of eerie. So anyway, the other reason that I decided that I would put this as a members only is because, I have not made a secret about how I feel about Judge Boyce. Okay? I want to own it. I know the popular thing to do is to say, oh, the judge is perfect and the police are perfect and everybody's perfect. I know that's the popular thing, but I can't do that if I don't think it's true. I have to be honest, in my content. I do disagree fervently with some of the choices that the judge has made. One of the biggest things was the level of disrespect that he showed towards Larry and Kay Woodcock. And it wasn't one event. It was multiple things, multiple times throughout the life of this crazy, horrible story, event, reality, if you're the Vallow, family, and Tammy's family. But some people have this kind of immediate negative reaction if you cast a negative judgment on, one of these professionals. I also give credit where credit is due. And Boyce literally threw the book at her. He really did. He couldn't have been any harder on her. But let me be careful when I say this. I'm satisfied with his choice because she earned those life sentences. She earned them. He didn't give those to her because he wanted to send a message. She earned them, and he did the right thing, right? I think he evaluated the evidence that was presented and the verdict given by a jury, and I think he had to do what he had to do, and I'm appreciative for that, because he could have thumbed his nose at everyone. He could have said, okay, well, you're just going to go to, like a residential facility for the criminally insane or whatever. So while I'm appreciative and I'm grateful and I'm very happy for the victims' families and friends in this case, I think he owes some people a real apology, namely Larry and Kay Woodcock. Their rightful position as grandparent was taken from them by him. Well, and of course, Lori's, attorneys. And don't tell me, I know the defense attorneys, they serve a very important, valuable role in our system of government. I know. But I don't think after she's already been found guilty, I don't think interrupting a victim's tearful statement, I don't think that's the role of the defense attorney. I think Abercrombie has got dirt all over him because of the way that he treated Larry and Kay Woodcock in the definition of victim. I think that whole table that I zoomed in on during sentencing, well, they need a couple of really good showers, and then they need to go to church and ask for some forgiveness from the guy upstairs who counts. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be accurate here, but I got a bad taste in my mouth from their antics. I've got a bad taste in my mouth because I think Boyce did not show strength toward Lori's attorneys. I think he was wishy-washy with them. I also think, that there were some missed deadlines that were really important, but Boyce took the death penalty off the table. Have you ever seen a woman on the face of the planet that earned the death penalty more than Lori Vallow? She earned that death penalty. In some ways, I think this is a worse punishment for her. She is delusional. I believe that. She is delusional. And I think being in the general population, those women are there and they're missing their own children and they love their own children. And they're never going to let Lori forget what she did to her babies. Never. So someone who has an organized delusion, to have reality in their face all the time makes it very difficult for them to live in their little fantasy world. So that is a good thing. She's going to be reminded every day. I have no doubt about this. Those inmates will remind her, and the guards will remind her every day that she murdered her own babies. Every day. Every day. Until she gets to a point where she can say, I did this horrible thing. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I went crazy. I'll never forgive myself. Until she gets to that point, they are going to be slamming her with this all the time. In the same way that we were infuriated by her stupid statement, those inmates will hear that from her every day and they will be infuriated. I believe that in my heart, having, done a little bit of the whole prison thing. So, So I think, I think in some ways it's better, because if she'd gotten the death penalty, she'd have been isolated in a cell. She'd been by herself, and she would have been firmly ensconced in her fantasy world, and there would have been no suffering. So this will be suffering for her. So, good for her. Can I beg you guys for something? Would y'all please hit the thumbs up? I know that's an irritant to hear a creator say that, but my videos are not being shared or recommended by YouTube at all. And I think it's because I have the views, but the thumbs up is very low. I don't normally ask people to hit the thumbs up. So that would help to just get YouTube's computer to put my videos out just a little bit. So anyway, so I am grateful to Judge Boyce, and I wish that he would have made some level of statement identifying Larry as Grandpa or Paw. That's his place. Now I want to say this about Kay Woodcock. Kay Woodcock was in gangster mode, okay? She was perfect. I loved when she said, and I believe her too, don't get me wrong, I believe her, when she said, you know what, Lori, I would have given you the $1 million, and no one would have had to have died. You would have had your $1 million. We could have all taken turns to raise JJ and even Tylee. She said we would take both of them. But I'd have given you that money for you to take care of that little boy. I'd have given you that money. Man, that was such a great move. That was such a good thing for Lori to hear. To build that regret, right? To build up that sense of, I could have made different decisions. I could have made better decisions. So that was wonderful. Kay, I think the numbers as she laid them out were so significant. It was such a powerful statement. It really got people thinking, not just feeling, right? I do think Tammy Daybell's family, it was very, very emotional and traumatic, but Kay's message was on point. It was interesting. The opening, everybody was like on pins and needles going, why is she saying all these numbers? What does that mean? And so she got the attention of every single person watching. And we were just hanging on her words, wanting to know what were these different numbers, indicating. So, Kay, that was very good. It's very good. I'm going to get tearful now. But so now at this point, Lori will be headed to Arizona. We don't know when that's going to take place, but she'll be going to Arizona to face the music for Charles. I get kind of emotional over Charles because he pleaded for help. We have video of him begging police officers, not just one, not two, not three, not four, begging different police officers, different times of day, different locations, help us, help us, help us. And no one could overlook cute little Lori and her lip gloss. It's an abomination. And for those of you who are police officers in Arizona, I hope that you guys do some soul searching. There needs to be some additional level of training. I don't believe a single one of these police officers is evil or bad or mean. Not at all. I think they were a victim of their own socialization. That, this attractive, well-spoken, upper middle class female arguing with her husband, throwing out the A word. Oh, he's an adulterer. He cheated on me. Cops are people too. And they couldn't see past that stereotypical, I'm no troublemaker, I'm just a little homemaker, right? We got to quit that. When people are coming to you and they are begging in earnestness, help us, our family has a problem, the police and teachers are the first line of defense. And the training that these officers go through, we got to move beyond, what people look like. If somebody's asking for help, you need to believe them. People don't beg and plead for help unless something is really gone off the rails. And it doesn't matter how much money they make. It doesn't matter what they look like. Bad things happen to everyone. So Charles really, it's very hard for me to listen to the videos of him begging and pleading. It's just because it could have all that right there. He did everything right. He was actually in touch with Lori's family. He was doing everything he could think of to get some help for his wife and family. And people just looked away. They just looked away. Oh, he got caught cheating, so now he's trying to blame someone. Boy, were you wrong. She was the one that was cheating. He was just trying to save his family. That's all. So this thing that will be coming up in Arizona in the next couple of years, that will be very difficult, I think, for a lot of us. The next one is the Chadster, old chins. One thing is for certain, those chins are quivering in fear today. I would be willing to bet that the Chadster did not sleep very well last night. I'm sure when he was at 5 life sentences. Ooh, Chadster. You thought being a gangster was going to be so amazing and great, didn't you, Chad? You got punked. It's fixing to get real bad in your world. Now, question. Do you guys think that, hey, ladies of angels, thank you so much. Thank you for being one of our beautiful sparkling gems. So what do you guys think? Do you think Chad's going to deal now that she got the book thrown at her? Because for him, death penalty is still on the table, correct? Hey, Jeff H. So sad that Charles may have looked crazy to the police back then. We know who the crazy one was. Absolutely, Jeff. That is one that I'm, trying to talk about it just makes me want to tear up because he was so passionate and he was calm. He wasn't screaming and yelling and throwing his arms around. He was just saying, listen, y'all, she thinks she's Moroni. Does that sound normal to you? Can I please get some help? And the cops just couldn't look past that stereotype, right? It just got them. So the Chadster. Oh yeah. So I hate to say this. Some people say, well, you shouldn't make it fun to talk about Chad Daybell. He's a monster. No. I know that. Trust me, I do. And for some reason, every time I see Chad, I hear cartoon music. Like to look at a picture of him or see him walking through the courtroom, I hear this do 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 do. He's just a big old. He's just nothing. He's zero. I find it possibly the extension of the stereotype that somehow Lori was corrupted by the Chadster? Or is it safe to say that probably the Chadster was, you know what I mean? She was manipulating him sexually in a way that he had never faced in his life. I think it just went from bad to worse. Chad will put us through a trial and will speak religion at the end, just like Lori did. No regrets or remorse, just like Lori. Well, Language of Horse is having remorse today. She's in the big house. And this is a whole different ball game. I know, because I've been to local jails, I've been to county lockup, and I've been to the big house, multiple big houses, doing evaluations or therapy, different things. Sheriff's jail, that is a resort. The prisons are terrifying. Y'all take my word for it. It's terrifying, horrifying. So she got a big old whomp over the head last night, when the doors locked behind her. She's not prepared. She is not prepared for that kind of life. She is going to be faced with the worst that society has to offer. She's remorseful today, I promise y'all. She's probably on her knees last night going, "Oh Lord God, how have thy forsaken me?" No, Lori, you weren't forsaken. You earned it, girl. What is horrifying, the prison itself or the people in there? Okay, so there's two different levels of what I'm calling horror. I think the horror, the actual experience of horror, will come from the culture shock, right? That this is a woman who really grew up in the lap of luxury and had all resources that she would ever need or want. Luxury vacations, people bowing down to her to do her will, things like that. She convinced herself while she was in county lockup or the sheriff's jail, they call them different things. She convinced herself that this was just a short-term thing, and it was all for God and the Chadster, and that God was going to save her. There were going to be angels that were going to come down, and are very comfortable. Most of the people, when you're in your cell, you can see a television. It may be sitting on a chair, or it may be like at the end of the hallway. People can see each other. Sometimes they can play cards together. It's a lot of times the guards will come in. The deputies are friendly with the people that are housed there. It's a very relaxed. It's sort of like a dorm room. It's very different. Then you go into a full-blown prison. There's a whole different. It's very, very clinical, institutional. Lots of metal, lots of concrete. There is not even the beginning of not even a suggestion of luxury or decoration or anything like that. It's very hard. It's very cold. There's no cozy place. There's not even like a cozy place that you could sit on the floor, like Indian style, and kind of find a little bit of quiet. You're constantly under surveillance, and there's people around you. At every turn. It's even the meeting rooms. There's a strong smell of bleach or cleaning. Everything is wiped down. Really, it's just going in, spending 3 or 4 hours to do evaluation, walking out, when you walk out of the door, you just this deep breath of air, and it's just like, oh my God, thank you. It's just there's something about hearing the clanging behind you as they're locking the doors. I guess the sounds of it, you're hyper aware that you can't get out. Everyone looks miserable. There is no laughing. There's no discussion about ball game, the things that normal people talk about. And then the inmates, That's a whole different thing. So with the inmates, you got to remember that a majority of the inmates, not everyone, but the majority of the inmates are people who have lived their life according to who's the strongest, who's the meanest, who's the most audacious. So there's a great deal of positioning and maneuvering. People don't want to be bothered, so they want to be really considered scary or unpredictable. So they work very, very hard to build up a mask, a facade. It's pretty horrible. It's pretty awful. Difference between jail and prison. Jail is usually what people are referring to when they're talking about just like the little city jail, which is usually only a couple of, cells. The county is where there'll be more cells. People will usually have 1 or 2 beds per cell. Now, there's the drunk tank, too, where you might have like 15, 20, 30 people in one cell. But for people like Lori, people that are accused of a crime, they don't get bail, they'll usually have them by themselves in a cell. But they still have people around them. They've got people they can talk to. Like I said, there's always a television playing somewhere. But in prison? No. Nope. Shawshank Redemption in American History. That's why it's called The Slammer, The Haunting Reality. And Cinnamon, it's not, you don't just walk in and you hear it, right? It's not like insulated. Each level that you go in, it's more. You can just hear, it's more locks. And they're digging through all, and look, when somebody like me, when we go in, the attorneys go in or whatever, they look through our briefcase, and of course we get patted down, and all that, but you're treated with respect, and you're in a part of the prison that's comfortable. But in Louisiana, I actually had to go, this was pretty horrible, one of the worst days of my life, truly. I actually had to go back on the unit, and I said, after that experience, I was like, no, not going to keep this. This is not what I want to do with my life. So that was pretty horrible. It smells horrible. You guys cannot even imagine how bad it smells. A lot of different reasons for all the horrible smells, but it is, trust me, when you walk out, you just take this deep breath of fresh air, and you just feel like you need to go get in the shower, and you've only been there 4 hours, not day after day after day after day. It's very, very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. All right. I keep thinking. All right. So that is that's, I just wanted to add that. Like I said, I do have the video out in the members only section with the sentencing, where we played the whole thing out. I had some comments to make. It's going to make some people mad, because I'm not happy with Judge Boyce and the way he treated the Woodcocks, and some of his rulings. And I'm not happy with Lori's attorneys. I thought they were a little too aggressive, after she was, found guilty. So that, I may at some point, I probably actually won't make it public. It'll probably stay members only. But I did want to do shout outs for the victims. The statements they made, they were perfect. Kay Woodcock restored Larry Woodcock to the rightful position of Pawpaw, where he has always been, in my mind. He was always Grandpa. 100% grandpa. And Kay has always been grandma, 100% grandma. It's just silly. It's just ridiculous to say, oh, that was the aunt and uncle. It's ridiculous. It removes from them the special nature of the relationship that they had with that little boy. They were, without any doubt in my mind, they were the two most significant relationships that JJ had in his life, other than Tylee. So, you know, and one more comment too. I don't have a problem that Colby didn't show up. He has got to take care of himself. We can never understand what he's trying to survive. So I think hands off in terms of Colby. He needs to do what he needs to do to find health and happiness, and to move past this horrific trauma that will forever affect him. But he can go on and heal and live a healthy and happy life, even though he'll always carry with him this memory of his lost brother and sister. And of course, he'll end up, I think he'll end up hating his mom. He may do this dance for a little while about, I forgive her, but in the end, he'll get to a point where he doesn't have any emotional feelings for her. So, okay, people, y'all are amazing. Y'all are awesome. Please, 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 please hit the thumbs up. I know that is so irritating to hear, but like I said, YouTube is just not promoting any of my videos, whether they're lives, whether they're organized lesson type information, whether it's just chit chat like today, whether it's edited videos. They're just not, it's just not getting much movement, which is disappointing. But I know Rex Uerman is in court today. I'm working, so I'm in my car right now because I had, a break. So, but I'm not going to be able to watch the hearing, so I'm really disappointed in that. But I will be finding it online tonight when I get home, and then I'll go live about it tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, so please, I'm begging you, please hit the thumbs up. Let me make one more comment too. I have one more comment about this idea of I want to be honest, and I noticed somebody made a comment about that. There was an event, most of you probably won't know what this is regarding, and that's the way I want it. I have about as much interest in drama as I do in, learning how to be an oyster fisherman. But I will say this. Sometimes when you see someone being villainized or attacked in a way that they did not earn, you may step up, not to white knight, but to show support. Correct? And you should. No one should ever be silenced because somebody's using Gestapo tactics of fear. But when you're invited for a public fight, a public argument, you are the adult in the room, and you have the ability to establish your boundaries, correct? And establishing boundaries of dignity isn't the same thing as lying. So my refusal to get into a no-win argument with a woman who thrives off of this drama and this chaos is my choice at public dignity, and refusing to get sucked into the mass of sport, with the whole drama thing. So go ahead and say what you want to say, but you might take a little lesson that there's something healthy about establishing establishing boundaries, and there's something fulfilling about living a life of dignity, and you might want to consider that. So, all right, that is all I have to say. And you guys are amazing, and I appreciate y'all, kind of letting me have my say. And I will definitely be live tomorrow afternoon talking about the Rex Gurman hearing. A very happy day, and for goodness sake, stay in the air conditioning because it is hot out here. See y'all later.